This is a game that I didn't want to talk about, or play, but here I am, Sonic Shuffle. In 1998, Nintendo released Mario Party, made by Hudson Soft, and it was a big hit and spawned multiple sequels on the N64 as well as the GameCube and more consoles and so on and so forth. The game is great. I love Mario Party. It's a game I wish I was talking about right now, even if the first Mario Party is kind of harder than the rest of them. It still has mechanics that work and make sense. Sega saw this and like, we want to make Sonic Party, but we'll actually think ahead and actually get the people who made Mario Party to make the Sonic Party, or as it would be known as Sonic Shuffle. Unfortunately, we did not really get a Mario Party game. In fact, you'd be better off playing the Sonic Secret Rings Mario Party mode that it has in there. It actually plays better than this, which is kind of sad. Because Sonic Shuffle decides that it wants to be unique and change stuff around. I don't know what Hudson were thinking. They made Mario Party, but they couldn't make a clone of it. I don't understand. Everything about this game is made to possibly be the least fun experience you could have while playing a party-style game. There's so much better games you play as similar to this than this game, essentially. Which is a shame, because Sonic's a really cool franchise, and I like this era of Sonic, but unfortunately, we're stuck with this horrible game. Since I talk about Boxer on this channel, here's the cover for Sonic Shuffle. It has all your four main characters holding cards. Sonic's like, yeah, this card's gonna help me win. It was probably just a one movement space, so it's probably not a good card at all. I don't know why Amy's being in number 2, but whatever. I hate these stupid cards. The Japanese version is the same artwork, but it actually makes it look like you play a board game layout rather than being in space or whatever. It's not bad, actually. The European version is similar to the Japanese one, but, kind of in between the American and that one. I don't know why there's a color background, like there's a board thing that spins around. That would be way better movement mechanics, but we didn't get that. Anyway, Sonic Shuffle. So there really isn't much development to talk about, but I will talk about some interesting things before we talk about the actual game itself, like the voice acting, because I like talking about voice actors. If you couldn't tell by the last episode I did, which was Sonic Pocket Adventure, I meant Sonic Adventure, you know what I mean. The Sonic Adventure 1 models, as well as the Sonic Adventure 1 voice actors, are back. Well, for the most part. Everybody but Knuckles' voice actor came back, so they didn't have a chance to rehire one, which they did for Sonic Adventure 2. So instead of getting a new voice actor for Knuckles, they reused lines, and his new voice actor is the same voice actor for Sonic, Ryan Drummond.
What is this place?
He actually does a pretty good impression of Knuckles, and now they probably should have kept him. It'd be easier, less money, but hey, I like the guy they got next to. Tails' voice also sounds different, but it's the same voice actor because, as kids grow up when they go through puberty, especially in boys, their voice changes a lot from, hey, I sound like this, to, I sound like this. I'll give you an example of how he sounds in the game.
Lumina? Lumina, if you don't mind, can you tell us what's troubling you?
That's all there is to say about those characters. Some of the new characters are voiced by previous voice actors, like this character they're talking to, the same voice actor as Rouge the Bat, in case you're wondering. Well, future voice actor. Also, you can tell the models are still the same as the adventure games, but they have a new outline to make them kind of like cel-shaded a bit. It's not bad. It's not a bad effect. So apparently this Knights reject is not voiced by Rouge the Bat. It's voiced by the same person who did Tikal, but it sounds exactly the same, but whatever. That's what the Sonic Wiki tells me, but it sounds like the other voice actor. Not a great design, honestly, and kind of a generic, here's your tutorial character that no one remembers. The 3 new characters they introduced, Sonic Shuffle, never return because they're uninteresting, lame, and whatever, who cares. There's Void, who's an evil version of Lumina, who wants to take over Imaginary World, which is the main plot point, who's voiced by Lonnie Manelli, who is the voice actor for Rouge, apparently. Whatever, doesn't matter. And then there's Illumina, who illuminates the light and stuff like that. But who gives a shit? Anyway, let's check out the story mode. One problem is this game only started with 4 characters. You have to unlock the other 4 characters by playing the game, which is a shame, but whatever. We got Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and Amy. So all of the Sonic characters get sucked into this place called Imaginary World because of one guy decided to fuck with everything. They had to put everything back to pieces, and everyone's like, oh, sure, I'll do that. That sounds fine.
I've got nothing better to do.
You sure you don't have anything better to do, Knuckles? Aren't you supposed to be the guardian of the Master Emeralds? You're just gonna be fucking around playing board games? I know Mario Party is not the best story either, but at least it's funny and makes sense for what you're actually doing. So in Mario Party, all the characters are like, we want to see who's the best. Like, who is the best character here? And everyone thinks that they're the best. The only way they can prove that is by playing a board game. So basically, it feels like a Mario Party. All the characters are having fun playing games, saying who's the best, and that's basically the main storyline of the Mario Party franchise. If it has a story at all, sometimes they don't have stories. But here, all these characters who are supposed to be working together are now fighting each other in a board game match to get these gems to save this world. Like, why are Sonic and his friends fighting each other? I know they did that in Sonic the Fighters, but I don't know. It's still, Alright, so how does Sonic Shuffle even work? Well, you start off in the first stage, which is Emerald Coast. Even though this is supposed to be an imaginary world, it's just Emerald Coast, look quite literally. Except now part of it's frozen over. Ooh. You got a bunch of cards you can choose from, and that's how you move. And you can only choose one space of how many spaces you can go. So sometimes you can move back a little bit, but not really. So overall, you're kind of limited to moving 6 at the most. And if you can't, you can select other people's cards for some reason. And you gotta wait for everyone's cards to run out before you can move different spaces again. So, and then after that's done, the next person goes, and so on and so forth. And of course, you can land on these battles things to get some gems to help, which are your items. And you have to roll the same cards in order to beat them, which is not a bad idea, but what happens when you run out of cards? So cards are very important. However, you're pretty much stuck to what you have, and if you want, you can take someone else's cards, but then you don't know if they're going to stake your cards in or not. And you don't have that many good cards to begin with. Most of them are just like 1 or 2 movement spaces, and there's areas you need to go far to get to certain areas. Plus, you need heavy cards to hit the bad guys. You can double your cards, but most of them, like I said, are low rolls, so most you're gonna get movement of speed of 4, which is not at all the same like Mario Party. Mario Party you can move like 20 spaces sometimes, and those maps are not as big as this map. So overall, one of the biggest problems with this game is there is bad movement speed. Also, if you couldn't tell, in order to get the Precious Stone, which is your star in this game, you have to use your cards to fight an enemy. Alright, so cards are very important, right? But you can only get them by doing that. So what's the point of rings or minigames? Well, I'll tell you what. There is none. Like, if you're far away, the farthest person away from the next one gets, like, smashed by Eggman, which is like, okay, that's kind of sucks. But your rings mean nothing. Sure, you can buy things at the store, but most of the store stuff isn't good. Like, one of them is, like, limiting your player's movement to 6. Like, not me, but the other opponents. Why would I do that? That's the highest roll in the game. Oh, maybe you can land them specifically in one space, but that doesn't really seem to matter that much. I'm mostly the game I'm trying to get to a certain area, so these low cards are fucking useless. So why does it keep giving me this stuff? If minigames don't mean anything, since one, you can't even get minigames unless you land on a certain space. So one of the main appeals of these party games is literally hard to get, and then what you win for it is rings, which you can only use at the shops, which are also limited in the game, and they don't give you good items. So what's the fucking point? To make matters worse, this map is incredibly limited. It seems like there's multiple pathways, but only certain characters can take certain routes. So if you're Sonic here, you can't go to certain areas to not stop yourself from drowning, since for a large section, a lot of gemstones are located in this area where you have to walk under. Since you have low rolls, it's a very long walkway, you can easily drown just trying to get something. Like, uh-oh, I can't land on this thing because you can just pass over it. Unlike Mario Party, where you go past a certain main thing, like a Boo or a Toad holding a star, you'll just do it either way. None of these battles are challenging at all. In fact, it would actually been better if we had to use rings or something, because the card roulette is pretty easy to do. I don't understand what's the point of that. It makes the rings useless, and again, minigames also useless. Because there is no turns, you have to basically have every character get each of the stones, which are on this big map, so it takes forever. In fact, my game crashed before I was even able to get to the end, which sucked ass. It doesn't even seem to matter who wins, until you get to this final battle here, where against one of the enemies. Like, ooh, and that's all you get. I guess we should just talk about those enemies, I guess. Usually I would, but they're just basically palette flops, weird guys, and stuff like here, as you can see on the wiki here. There's nothing interesting to even talk about, so I'm not going to. Once you get to the end, the ice all melts out, and you get a accident, which is a thing that just randomly occurs sometimes, where you play a mini-game that just gives you rings. But here it doesn't make any sense, because, you know, what would that matter to the end? It doesn't. Well, yeah, there are mini games in this game. There ain't anything special, but some of them are kind of fun. I would talk more in depth about this game, but to be honest, there's not much to cover in this game. I could go into depth, but why would I? It's not a fun game. Usually I like to talk about games as much as I can, but Sonic Shuffle has no impact on the franchise, and it just fails in every aspect. So I'm not going to go over the mini games. They don't make them easy to even replay, or let alone get to, or have any purpose in the game itself. So Because of that, I'm just gonna imagine that they exist. In case you're wondering, there's a cutscene saying, "Wow, this island's saved. Also, Void sucks ass, so fuck them." The next course is known as the Firebird, which looks like the egg carrier, but it's a bird that's on fire, even though it's not. It's the egg carrier, let's be honest. I know I was going to talk about the mini games, but this one right here can seriously kiss my ass. After you beat the Firebird, the next zone is going to be Nature Zone, which looks like the ancient ruins from Sonic Adventure. Like I said, all these zones are based on Sonic Adventure, but they're acting like they aren't. The next course is Riot Train. I actually didn't play any of these. I'm using footage for somebody because I could not get past the first mode, the little course, and it pissed me off. It's like, this took an hour. It crashed on me. I'm not playing this game. It's not rewarding at all. I'm sorry, guys, I have to do this. That's why this review is kind of lackluster. But I'm just going over some of the main things so you guys don't complain too much. But you have to pay me to play this game again. The last course is the fourth dimension space, where I guess we're traveling through space in order to get to certain areas. Might have been cool if it wasn't for the shitty card system. Oh, you want to know about the story? Well, the story sucked anyway. Sonic and friends did barely anything. They're like, we believe in our dreams, and then this girl fairy likes the other fairy dude who sounds like a girl because he's voiced by a girl. And yeah, and that's it. And then we get some weird, creepy pre-rendered cutscene with some woman who looks uncanny as fuck. And that's my review of Sonic Shuffle. I know I'm kind of being harsh on this game. Can it be that bad? Well, let me tell you something. Sega doesn't like this game either. And we've seen some games Sega doesn't like, and usually they have a particular reason. This game has never been re-released, and it's for a reason. It's console locked on the Sega Dreamcast, the only Sonic game to be like that. And the main reason is it's not good. It's bad. It's the most unfun I've ever had playing a party game. Like, I'm not joking. This is so unfun. I'd rather actually play a board game, because board games at least are fun. This is not fun, so don't play it. Sonic Shuffle can only be bought on the Sega Dreamcast, and it's a $44 game unless you want to lose. It's $26. I actually own this piece of shit, and I know how bad it is firsthand, because I played it on the Dreamcast and one for the footage here, but for both points I couldn't get past the first area. It's not a fun game, and I think I mentioned that multiple times, so I don't need to go into it in more detail. Here is the tier list. Yes, Sonic Shuffle's at the bottom. It's not good. Even the storyline sucked. Oh, dreams. Who cares about those characters? I have no attachment to them. They never reappear again. Well, I want my brothers back or something like that. I don't understand. I didn't even go into it because it was so lame and dumb, and the characters look stupid. And I say lame and dumb all the time. You have to get you can't even really unlock the other characters simple or easy. That's why I didn't even showcase them. I couldn't even find footage of them, but they apparently exist. No one's played this game enough to get them though, so it's terrible. Like, would I rather play Tails Sky Patrol again? Yeah, I would. That's how bad Sonic Shuffle is. Another reason I want to get fast this is because the next review is going to take another while for me to get to. I don't know if it'll be out by next week. Maybe it will, because I'm doing Sonic Adventure 2, which is going to be a big, beefy review, and I actually really want to play that. So, fuck Sonic Shuffle. Sorry if you like Sonic Shuffle, but I don't know anybody who really does. Not that I know anybody, because I don't really talk to people, but there you go. And goodbye. See you later.